I guess we'll go ahead and get started, and then if people pop up, they can just join in. So thank you everyone for being here. My name is Jeanette. I am the Vice President of Recruitment and Retention. Here today we have our Panhellenic Advisor, Grace, our PAN President, Juliet, our Director of Greek Life, Zach, our Graduate Assistant, Lauren, and our NPHC and MGC Advisor, Kari. So let me get the presentation on the screen. Let me figure out how to broadcast it. Here we go. Oops, what did I do? Oops. All right, here we go. So welcome to the Collegiate Panhellenic Council at the University of North Texas. What is the Collegiate Panhellenic Council? The Panhellenic Council is a governing body of the 8 national sororities here at the University of North Texas. The Panhellenic organization is established to foster interfraternal relationships, to help collegiate chapters of the National Panhellenic Conference member groups, and assist in maintaining the highest scholastic and social standards.
Okay, and so we have 8 chapters in NPC, and that is Alpha Phi, Alpha Delta Pi, Chi Omega, Delta Gamma, Kappa Delta, Kappa Kappa Gamma, Pi Beta Phi, and Zeta Tau Alpha. And we wanted to let you guys know that Chi O actually has a lodge, and the other 7 sororities have houses on campus.
We have 4 pillars of excellence, and that is scholarship, leadership, sisterhood, and service, and we'll get a little bit into that next.
So we take scholarship very seriously. We have numerous Greeks appear on the Dean's and President's list every semester. There's also many honor societies that Greeks are a part of, such as Order of Omega, Rho Lambda, Golden Key, and Mortar Board. Many sororities offer scholarships to members in attempts to encourage continued academic success. Each chapter has a program for scholarship opportunities to help you study programs and all of that fun incentives to really help scholarship. Most sororities on campus maintain grade requirements for selecting new members. Grade requirements are also used to maintain academic success among its members by requiring each member to obtain a certain grade point average. So for incoming freshmen, the requirement is a 2.75 GPA. And for upperclassmen and students with college credits, they require a 2.5.
And that includes a current student or a transfer. Oops. All right, leadership. Sororities are self-governing organizations giving members numerous leadership opportunities. It also utilizes a committee, or each chapter also utilizes a committee structure that allows you to be involved in all operational aspects of the sorority. So that includes like becoming a president or running for a vice president of finance and stuff like that. And it's really helpful because if you want to learn more about your major, that's also a really good way to explore that. So let's say you're a finance major, running for VP of Finance would be a really good way to get experience and also just be able to be involved in your sorority. Additionally, chapters provide educational programming in areas such as time management, leadership, and communication, so you really grow your leadership skills and other skills that you want to work on. Sorority women currently hold leadership positions in SGA, or Student Government Association, North Texas 40, and that is a honors program for the top 40 people in grades. New student orientation, so that's like an orientation leader, Eagle ambassadors, and many more student organizations. So we can be involved in different organizations as well. You have a lot of time to be involved in other organizations as well. I feel like people are kind of worried about not having time to be involved in other different organizations, but you definitely do have time to do that.
So, our next pillar is sisterhood. Joining a sorority is the beginning of new experiences. You'll make new friends and find your home away from home. Sisterhood represents bonds of friendship and unity that last a lifetime. These bonds are not only shared by individual chapter members, but also between chapters around the nation due to the history and the ideals upon which each chapter was founded. So, we take sisterhood really seriously, and not just in your chapter, but also like in Pan as a whole. You'll find sisters no matter where you go.
And sisterhood also offers a lot of like opportunities. I was able to get my job through my sisterhood, so it's a really good way to make connections as well. Service. Sororities sponsor a multitude of activities each year to impact the local community and learn and earn money for special philanthropies or identified projects. Each chapter also donates its time and efforts to a particular project, either locally or nationally. So these philanthropies can be stuff like Heart Health, Ronald McDonald House, or Make-A-Wish Foundation, different philanthropies like that. The National Panhelleic Council also contributes its efforts to the Circle of Sisterhood Foundation. The Circle of Sisterhood is an organization that urges sorority women across the nation to raise money and awareness for girls and women facing poverty and oppression. The University of North Texas Panhelleic Council is a proud sponsor of the Circle of Sisterhood and continues to raise awareness on campus as well as in the Denton community. So some type of like ways that we raise money for this is having a pizza night at like a different restaurant. This year we sold t-shirts and that raised money as well.
So, over the 2018-2019 academic year, there was 8,183 hours of community service that our chapters did. $69,426 were raised by fraternity and sorority organizations for local and national charities. And then our overall, or the all sorority GPA was higher than the all undergraduate GPA for the 2018-2019 academic year, which was a 3.35.
All right, I'm gonna go over a little bit about how fall recruitment works. So for fall recruitment, all 8 sororities participate in a formal primary recruitment. And a primary recruitment is just a week-long event that ends with bid day celebrations. And so usually it's 5 days right before school starts, and then bid day will be on the first day of school. Incoming freshmen will have the opportunity to learn about Panhellenic recruitment, and each individual chapter through Greek Preview Day, which is today, and new student orientation, which will probably be virtual, as well as First Flight Week. Registration is required to participate, and I put the link below, but if you aren't able to access that link, you can also go to the Greek Life page and look up the Panhelleic Council, and it should be there. The dates for fall 2020 recruitment are August 20th through the 24th. Currently, there are no changes to fall recruitment, and if there are, we will definitely let you know and let you know if there will be refunds or partial refunds for the registration fee. We are currently working with in-state and federal guidelines to ensure that everyone is safe and has a good recruitment experience.
And so, a little bit about spring recruitment. During the spring semester, chapters with membership opportunities will participate in a process that is referred to as continuous open bidding, which is short for COB. Chapters will individually host events. They'll invite you to get to know the chapter. These events are mostly casual, just trying to get to know the people in each chapter. It's a relaxed environment where you will be able to get to know one another before potentially joining. Just one thing about spring recruitment is that not all chapters will be participating in COB or have membership opportunities. You can contact the Center of Fraternity or Sorority Life or the Panhellenic Vice President of Recruitment and Retention, Jeanette, and for more information regarding that. And we won't know like which chapters will be able to COB until late fall or closer to the spring semester.
All right, so we have a Panhellenic recruitment team, and these are known as Row Gammas, and as well as a logistics team. And these Row Gammas are Panhellenic sorority women, so these girls are already in sororities, who remove themselves from the chapter for the purposes of Panhellenic recruitment, otherwise known as disassociation. And they can serve as a guide for women wishing to join a Panhellenic chapter. So they will be disaffiliated all summer, and work together for the good of Panhellenic. They serve as a listener, role model, cheerleader, coach, and a friend to a potential new member as they go through the Panhellenic process. So they're basically there for the PNMs for anything that they need, whether it's guidance or they just have a question about recruitment or like what house they're supposed to go to. They're a really good resource for that. The logistics team member also often has the same duties as a ROGAMA during formal recruitment process, but they do more of the behind the scenes work. They're in charge of creating and managing the marketing materials for recruitment, managing all of the information concerning people who sign up for recruitment, and serving as a liaison between young women going through recruitment, the ROGAMAs, and the Panhellenic Executive Board, coordinator, and the coordinator. Regardless, if you have any questions, both the ROGAMAs and the logistics team can help. And also, whenever we go through PNM orientation, you will be able to actually meet your ROGAMA and be able to be put in a group with them and set up a group chat and all that fun stuff. So if you have any questions, you can email me, the untpanrecruitment@gmail.com for more information. And now we will open up to any questions. So if you have any questions, don't be afraid to ask in the Q&A. That's what we're here for. Let me go check. Can I still join a sorority if I am a transfer? Absolutely. For transfers, I think the only thing you need is to have a 2.5. Let me go back real quick. Scholarship. If you're a transfer, you will be required to have a 2.5 GPA. And yeah, everything else should work the same way. You just have to have a 2.5 GPA. And we have a lot of transfers that go through. How do I pull it back up?
One of the questions also asked about letters of recommendation. It is not required to have a letter of recommendation. It won't help you in the grand scheme of things. You can do it, and it's great to have one, but don't stress yourself out trying to get one.
When will the presentation be sent out? I'm guessing you mean today's presentation. And if so, we'll send it out probably as soon as the presentation is, or as soon as we're done presenting today. Do you have to get service hours when you're in a sorority? It just depends on the sorority, but I think almost everyone requires them to get service hours. Again, it just depends on the sorority. But there are a lot of really good opportunities to get service hours, especially during homecoming. Homecoming is a really good way because you can sign up as a team and get service hours like together, like with your sisters. So that's a really good way to get service hours. Yes, so this meeting is being recorded and we will send it out as soon as it is finished. How often do each chapter meet? Every chapter has a chapter meeting, whether it's at the beginning of the week or at the end of the week. So each chapter does meet once a week to talk about like chapter business and stuff like that. And then depending on the chapter, they can decide if they want to have sisterhood events where they can just hang out at the house, or if they have other events that week, you could possibly meet more than once a week. But I think mostly everyone is required, unless you have a class, to meet once a week. Would a full-time job affect being a part of the sorority? Sororities are pretty lenient when it comes to working with people. Like they're really good at working with people, especially if you are busy or if you have a class. So they have excuses that you can send in, depending on the sorority, but they're very, very good about working with you with your schedule, because I know a lot of people transfer or are transfers, or not transfers, they commute. So it can be really hard for them to spend a lot of time on campus and be able to be involved, but that doesn't really affect them, because you can just send in an excuse and they will work with you for that. And they'll have different things at different times. So I'm sure you'll probably have opportunities to find a time that works for you. If you don't get a bid in the fall, can you rush in the spring? So if you're going through recruitment in the fall and you don't get a bid or you decide to drop, you will have to wait a full year until the next fall to be able to recruit. But if you decide, actually, Julia, let me know if I'm wrong, but if you decide to drop recruitment, you would still have to wait a year, right?
I think before you sign anything, right, Grace?
Great. Yes, that's correct. So if you go through the recruitment process and you figure out that you're not ready to join a sorority at that time, in the fall, you can still be removed from the process and join at a later date, like in the spring, later on the fall semester. But if you go through the fall recruitment process and you do receive an invitation to join a sorority and you change your mind then and you want to reject that invitation to join, then you would have to wait a full year to join again.
Okay. If a transfer student gets a bid from a sorority, do they have to stay in the house after the first semester? That is completely up to you if you decide to, but a lot of houses require you to be initiated first before you can live in the house. So most people want to move in the semester after they get their sorority, and that is completely up to you, again, if you decide that you want to live in the house. But for the most part, I don't think you are required to live in the house. And again, they will work with you, especially if they know that you are a transfer. Let me check the chat too.
Yeah, somebody asked, how do you balance school and being in a sorority? Honestly, it's pretty easy to do that. Just with all of the programming that goes into being in a sorority, you have opportunities such as like study dates or, you know, some incentives for you to do good in school. Obviously, we're here for school and we're here to get our education and a degree. So that's like our top priority. And it's really fun whenever you like meet your sisters and they have the same major as you, or you guys are taking the same classes together, and just being able to manage everything. It's definitely possible to do that.
Mm-hmm. If you could total the amount of hours the commitment to a sorority would be in a week, then how many hours does it require? Again, it just depends on your schedule. You can completely choose how involved you want to be. If you want to be really involved, then you can go to everything and decide that you want to participate in everything. But there is not like a set hour of how many things that you have to go to, or how many hours you have to be involved in. Again, it's just completely up to you and your schedule, because I know some people are really busy with their classes and some people do have classes during meetings and they will excuse you for that. So that varies between people.
Another question is, how much is rent compared to apartment and dorms? It's going to vary based on every chapter. I found it to be cheaper than living. So I lived in a dorm my first semester, and then I moved into the house my second semester, and I found it a little cheaper just because whenever you live in the house, you probably get prorated dues a little bit, just because you're living in the house. So it kind of varies. The question's kind of hard, but if you're talking about from dorm to a sorority house and being in a sorority, it's a little cheaper to live inside of the house.
Are there many music majors in sororities? Yes, there are a lot of people who are involved in different organizations. There's a lot of band people, a lot of people in cheer that are in our organization. So yeah, and there's definitely time to be in both.
Yeah, kind of going off of what Jeanette said, somebody asked if they play a club sport, will they have enough time to be in a sorority? Absolutely. These sororities really want you to be involved on campus and not just in their sorority. They really take pride in their members being a part of everything that they possibly can. I was a North Texas dancer, so most of my time was dedicated to that and sorority life. And so trying to find that balance was a little difficult at first. But your sorority is always going to be there to support you, and this organization is like your base. So whenever you join a sorority, then you're free to do anything else, and have time for everything that you want to do.
Absolutely. Someone said, "Is it a good idea to join a sorority when you're an upperclassman, even though you're only a few semesters away from graduating?" Yes, you can still join if you're an upperclassman, and you'll still have the same experience. You just won't have as much time, but that's okay because we still want you. We want you to join.
Jeanette, one asked about guaranteeing a bid from a sorority, and then another one asked about the recruitment process. So maybe you can just give a quick overview on what that looks like.
Yeah, so sororities are not allowed to just promise you a bid. So if they do, that's not allowed. So you won't be guaranteed a bid. You don't know what house you're going to get a bid from until bid day. So wait, what was the other question?
The recruitment process.
The recruitment process? Okay, so the recruitment process is a 5-day process. I kind of explained it a little bit, but to go into more detail, you'll have 5 days. So the first day, you'll go to each house and you'll spend time at each house getting to know everyone. And then on the second day, you have the possibility of going back to, so we had 8 houses on the first day. The second day, you'll have the possibility of going back to 6 houses. Not everyone will get 6 houses. It just depends on your schedule. But you'll go back to 6 houses and you'll be getting a house tour, and you'll just go through each house that you get invited back to and get to see their house. And then the third round will be philanthropy. So you get to learn about the houses that you get invited back to, about their philanthropies. And then the fourth day will be pref night. So you'll have the option to go back to 2 houses. And that day will be the most fancy, I guess you could say. So each day you'll get a little bit fancier, dressy-wise. So the last day will be pref night, and you'll be able to go back to 2 houses. Again, not everyone will be invited back to 2 houses. It just depends on your schedule. And then after that night will be bid day. So bid day will be on the 24th, and that will be the first day of school. And so everyone will meet at the Greek Life Center, and you'll open your bid and then run home.
Some asked if there's a cap about people joining a sorority, and Grace, correct me if I'm wrong, but whenever we have people coming through recruitment, we normally find the median that everybody can have. So we won't really know. Oh, I don't know actually.
Yeah, you're right. So the number of members that each sorority can take depends on how many women are interested in joining sororities at that time. One thing that Panhellenic does is they try to make all our organizations similar in size, since they do operate very similarly, to create that Panhellenic unity across the chapters. So there's not necessarily a cap of the set number. It just varies of how many women are interested in joining sororities at that semester.
And then there's another one about how do you know if you're requested back to a house. So like Jeanette was kind of talking about the recruitment process, each day you go to a specific set of houses. And then the next day when you go back, you'll get a little slip that tells you the houses that you got asked back to, and the kind of like that. So you'll know that day right before you go start your day.
Right. And you'll be with your ROGAM group. So your ROGAM group will meet in a specific room every day before the day starts to kind of give you a rundown of what's going to happen, and then they'll give you your schedule. Someone said it's pretty difficult making friends with other students at such a big campus. Do you really make close lifelong friends when you join a sorority? Absolutely. And it starts before you even join a sorority. When you get your ROGAM group, you have the opportunity to meet a lot of people in your group that you've never met before, as well as your ROGAMs in other groups too. So that's a really good way to get to know people. And then once you join your sorority, you'll have a lot of friends that you'll be able to make that then. But also, outside of your collegiate Panhelleic Council, you also have different councils like our National Panhellenic Council and our Multicultural and our IFC. Well, they'll have a bunch of members in those too, and you'll have a lot of opportunities to meet them as well through homecoming and other clubs and stuff like that. So yeah, I would definitely say our campus and especially our Greek life is very close knit, since our Greek life is a little bit smaller than other schools. So that's a really good opportunity to get to know different girls in different sororities and different councils.
There's a question that asks about legacies and how that works. So you will not just be able, or okay, hold on, let me see. Will I only be able to pledge a sorority I'm a legacy for? And the answer to that is no. You're going to go through the recruitment process just like anybody else, really see who you click with and like could really find your home there. Because it's going to be different for everyone. It's going to be different for every campus, for every person, who they meet and who they like really click to and really can see like a family atmosphere. Is going to be different for everyone. So.
How do sororities and fraternities coordinate events together? It just depends on their event chair and whether or not they want to reach out to them and have an event. But there are a lot of opportunities to be able to participate with other sororities and fraternities through homecoming and through other like Greek Week and stuff like that. So there's a lot of different like university events where you'll be able to do that. Will there be a dress code for each day of recruitment? Kind of. So there's not like a set, like you have to wear this, you have to wear that. So in the recruitment book that we released, it will be on our Greek Life page. If you look up UNT CFSL and then go to the Panhelleic Council and click on how to join, there will be a link for the recruitment book. And in there, it will show you each day of what you're supposed to wear. So the first day, you'll be wearing a UNT shirt. So just any UNT shirt you have, and then maybe some nice bottoms and just some comfortable shoes. I really stress comfortable shoes because, you know, you don't want to be walking around in heels and be uncomfortable all day because that just does not sound like fun. And then the second day, you'll just be like, you'll be getting a little bit dressier each day. So just wearing like, you know, a cute sundress or a cute like top and shorts is fine. I know it's going to be hot, so just dress in whatever you're comfortable in wearing. And then the last day will be more of like a cocktail attire dress, but then again, you can just wear whatever you feel comfortable wearing, but that will technically be the most dressy day, I guess you could say. And then on bid day, you'll be wearing just a comfortable shirt and shorts, also going to be hot that day. And then be ready to change into your bid day shirt. So maybe wear a sports bra under that. And yeah.
So some asked in the chat, how many women are in a ROGAM group? That's all going to depend on how many people sign up for recruitment. And then we're going to divide you guys into groups based on that. So I would say maybe around 30 people each. I don't know, Jeanette, what do you think?
Probably like 25 to 30, maybe a little bit less.
Yeah, good.
Just depends.
Yeah, it just depends. And then another question from the chat says, what are social events like? Like we say, each chapter is going to be different. Social events happen for everyone. They're a great time. Most of the time we have social events for philanthropy days. And so like Pi Phi had their wings for their literacy. So that was really fun, a really fun social event. So you guys will have multiple events throughout the semester, and each of them are going to look different. And it's really fun, like going to every sorority and really, you know, contributing to their philanthropy.
What are the week dates for Rush? So Rush recruitment will be from August 20th through the 24th, with bid day being the 24th on the first day of school.
One asked, if you're going through recruitment, do you move into your dorm earlier than the rest of campus? And the answer to that is no. Our week is the week after first flight, or like kind of during first flight week, and once you already are settled. So you'll have enough time to truly like move in, get, you know, accustomed to where you're living and how far you got to walk to places before we start the recruitment process.
Will my sorority work with school schedule? I kind of already answered this, but yes, we are very good about working. All sororities are really good about working with your schedule because everyone is busy, you know, you're here for school first, so they will work with your classes and if you are commuting and stuff like that.
One question asked, how do you suggest preparing for recruitment and rush week? And honestly, there is no right or wrong when this comes to this. Truly just be yourself. These girls are looking for potential sisters and potential lifelong friends. And so just being you and being authentically you is what's going to really, really help you and the chapters decide what the best fit for you is. I know that's cliche, and you'll probably hear this a lot during recruitment, to trust the process. You just have to trust the process. I hated hearing that when I was going through recruitment, because I just am a very person, like, I need to know all the stuff, and I was like freaking out. But it's supposed to be a super fun and rewarding process. So just to be yourself is probably the most important tip that I can give you.
Absolutely. How will bid day work since it's the same day as the start of classes? So bid day will be typically around like 5-ish p.m. Usually in the past it's been at like 5 or 5:30. So if you have a class, just tell your row gamma and we can work out a way for you to get your bid.
And there's a lot of benefits. This question came up a couple times, of joining a sorority in Pan. I think my favorite part about all of it is the connections that you're making, the alumni force that is behind it, of all these people that have graduated. You can, like Jeanette said, she got a job from an alum through her sorority. And so it's like times like that, that's like really cool. So you get leadership opportunities. Me and Jeanette right now are on Panhellenic Executive Council, which is like a big deal. And so we get to practice our leadership skills here before going into the workforce or going into like higher education. And then you have your sisterhood. And so there's just so many benefits of joining a Pan sorority that it's kind of hard to choose like your favorite one. I don't know. Jeanette, what's your favorite?
There's a lot of options. My favorite part is just being able to kind of like see myself grow. Like in high school, I feel like I never really got to see my leadership potential. And when I joined my sorority, I honestly didn't think that I would be where I am today and being on Pan Exec. So it's something that really helped with my confidence and me being able to kind of like explore my leadership potential. And for that, I'm grateful for. Someone said, is joining a sorority like in the movies? Absolutely not. The sororities in the movies highlight the incorrect and false stereotypes that are completely not true, and sororities are the opposite of what are shown in the movies. So don't watch those.
Okay,
Bye, Zach.
Somebody asked, as an upperclassman transfer student, is it possible for you to make it into a leadership position in the short amount of time you have left at UNT? The answer is yes. I joined my sorority as a freshman, but by the second semester, I was already on the executive council for my sorority. So there's so many opportunities for you, and not just the big name executive council, but there's so many different officer positions that you can do, and those officer positions are where you start planning things like big events for your chapter, or like a scholarship chair to where you can help people with their grades. There's so many various types of leadership throughout each chapter, and so yes, 100%.
There's also different like scholarship, I don't know how to say it, like scholarship organizations that you can join as well, scholarly organizations, like Order of Omega and Rho Lambda, and those look really good on a resume. So those are really good Greek honor societies that you can join.
So Jeanette kind of talked about this question. It's asking about, is it possible for all houses to request you back, or is it a maximum amount that can request you back? It's kind of like a difficult process to really explain because of all the back end stuff that happens. But so like after the first day, whenever you go to all 8 houses, the second day, your max that you can go to is 6. But the logistics team and everybody who's working with Pan really helps with those numbers, and they figure out which houses that you're going to go to next. Kind of, yeah.
Mutual. How long is the initiation process after you get a bid? It just depends on the sorority.
And then do y'all have pets at the houses?
I wish.
Mostly no. If it's like a service animal or something of that sort, then I think they figure all that out with UNT on a personal basis. But overall, no pets. And then, is it hard for a transfer student going into junior year to rush? I think we've already answered this question, but we said no. Go ahead and go for it. It's never too late to find a sisterhood.
Absolutely. Someone said, is it common to not get a bid after rushing? For the most part, it is pretty uncommon, but it does happen. Last year, we didn't have anyone that didn't, but I mean, it's just, the process, but for the most part, it is like pretty uncommon, but it can happen. And if that does happen, you still have options. You can either go through recruitment next year, or I think you can still do it in the spring. Or you can also look at different councils as well, like the National Panhelleic Council or the Multicultural Council for that as well. And there's also different opportunities like that.
And then one of the questions is about rushing in the fall or the spring and our opinions about it. I always say to rush in the fall, but that's just because my personality is very extroverted. So like I loved going to all the houses and talking to everyone and doing stuff like that. And you get the most out of your sorority experience, like going through it and like really opening up all the doors to all the sororities on our campus. But if that is just totally not for you and you're just like, okay, no, I'm not going to do that, spring would probably be better. The only downside to that is only a few sororities will have potential openings for new members. And sometimes it's not that many open spots. So it's all depending on who you are as a person. But for me, I don't know about Jeanette, but for me, I recommend recruiting in the fall.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I would definitely try it out. If you are shy, I feel like, I was really shy going through recruitment. So, it's okay and it's normal to be nervous about it. But I definitely think that going through fall would be a really good option to get to know every single sorority versus it's not guaranteed that you will be able to get to know every sorority in the spring.
Sorry, I was muted. One question asked about scholarships and loans helping you with the cost of joining a sorority. So I had financial aid, and that really helped me. That's like really the only reason how I was able to be in a sorority. So with all of that, I was able to pay like my rent because I lived there and some dues. I don't think it goes through your myup.edu account, but you just kind of have to see how that happens. So most of the time, once you get like a student scholarship or a loan, it posts to your account. And then and it pays all of the things that you need to pay for. And then sometimes if you have like a refund amount, that'll come back to you and then you can use that however you choose to. And so I spent my money on living in a house and all that dues and stuff.
Do y'all have a process that allows you to meet people from your college and major? Absolutely. Once you get your sorority, they have a lot of good different scholarship programs where you can get to know people from your major. And a lot of the times there might be girls in your program group that might have the same major as well.
And then, so somebody asked about weekly meeting times for the sororities are the same for each semester. Most of the time, yes. Sometimes whenever a new exec comes in, they kind of want to change how something looks, but for the majority of the time, they'll probably all be the same. Some chapters meet on Mondays, some chapters meet on Sundays. It just depends. But as soon as you are accepted into a chapter, they give you all of that information and way more information than you probably really want to know about it. So then you can start planning your fall semester. But like we said, it's really not that difficult to try and keep up with everything. And as Jeanette has said many times, you can go ahead and submit excuses if you can't miss or can't attend things because of school and all of that other stuff.
Someone said, what does the cost of joining look like? It just depends on the sorority. Each sorority has a different cost, and they mostly have a system where you can do a payment plan where you can pay it in different times. So if you don't want to pay it in full, they will work with you for that. And the cost should be in the recruitment book. I know we sent out the link in the chat. So if you want to look through that, it has the average of all the sororities together for in-house, what it looks like to live in in-house, which would be after you're initiated, and then out-of-house, and then new member as well. So that will have the cost for that. And that's not going to be for just one, it'll be for like the average of everyone.
Yeah, and along with that dues information, whenever you're a new member, you have more new member international fees that come along with it. So probably for most sororities, I would assume you would have like a little bit extra money going out your first year of joining.
Yeah, your first year will definitely be probably the most expensive, but it should get cheaper after your first year because that was just your first year and you have to pay for like different things like badges and all that fun stuff. I'm uncomfortable with events. Am I allowed to not participate? So if you go through recruitment, you do have to go to all parties on your schedule. If not, I don't think you are allowed to continue. Just because we want you to give everyone a chance because you never know who you're going to connect with or who you're going to meet. So definitely you need to go to every house that you are invited back to just so that you don't miss out on opportunities.
Yeah, and just a little overview. Whenever I first joined or was signing up, I really didn't know anything about going Greek. I was a first generation Greek. So when I saw parties, I was confused and I was like, oh my gosh, like what if nobody talks to me? Like, how does this work? It's not like that at all. So don't worry. You'll be like matched up or paired with a member from that chapter, and then you just sit with them and you have a conversation about who you are, your likes, your interests, and getting to know each other. So it's not like some crazy ordeal.
And they're probably just as nervous as you. So if you have a class at the same time as those weekly meeting times, can you still be in that sorority? Absolutely. They have a excuse system. Almost everyone everyone does have an excuse system where you can just send in an excuse because ultimately you're here for college first and here for classes first. So if you have a class at the same time as the meeting, they will work with you and they will probably also send out meeting minutes where you can see what they discussed in their meeting. So you're not missing out on anything. And that goes with events too. So if you have a sorority event where you are required to go to and you have a class, again, they will work with you for that too.
So all sororities on our campus take academics very seriously. Sorry if you hear my dog barking. I don't know why he's barking. But so everybody takes it very seriously. Academics, like we said, is our number one priority of being in school. So each chapter and each sorority are going to have plans to help you with that. So I think all of them.
Are the t-shirts and other miscellaneous items included with the cost or is it extra? I mean, I guess it just depends, but I think your new member dues and fees will cover some of that, but you will have opportunities to buy like different t-shirts and stuff. Like your big day shirt will be given to you, but other things like t-shirts throughout the year and stuff like that will probably like you'll have the option to buy if you want, but you aren't required to. I am super introverted. Will joining a sorority help me be open? Absolutely. I was completely introverted coming into this. Again, like Juliet said, I didn't know anyone. Like I didn't know what the process was going to be like. I didn't know anything about sororities. I just joined for the fun of it and just hoped for the best. And whenever I went to my houses, I was definitely a little bit nervous because I am introverted and I didn't want to say the wrong thing or I just didn't want to be too quiet. But like Juliet said, just be yourself because that will be the most rewarding thing you can get out of this whole thing. Don't try to be someone you're not because then you might get a house that may not fit in with you or you might not fit in with them. So just be yourself. And if you are a little bit nervous, just remember that they are probably just the same. They're probably just as nervous as you are. And after I joined my sorority, like I said, I didn't think I would be where I am today. I wasn't very involved in high school or anything, so seeing myself on Panhellenic is something I never thought I would be. So it definitely helped me with my leadership potential and helped me open up because I definitely was super quiet before I came to college.
How often do you hold events off campus versus on campus? Most of the time, most of our events are on campus. There's some times that we have events that are off campus, such as formals and date parties, and some philanthropy events could be hosted off campus as like a community thing. So, but yeah.
Yeah, there'll be events like give back nights that will be at like Torchy's or something. So that'll be like off campus, as well as like maybe a formal will probably be off campus somewhere in Denton, stuff like that. But for the most part, we want everyone to be able to come. So like philanthropy events, we most likely hold them at our sorority houses so that people not just in Greek life can come and support.
And sororities do have volunteer opportunities that don't involve our philanthropy. Some people will go to like a daycare and read to kids, and that doesn't have to be part of their philanthropy. You can really do anything. And even if you have a great idea about a volunteer opportunity that you would think would really help, your community, you can always let your chapter know, and they can go from there.
Is it possible to get a bid from multiple chapters? On bid day, you will be only given one bid. But I think for COB, like if you're in the spring, you might get an opportunity from more chapters. It just depends on like who is taking members at the time. But definitely for fall recruitment, you will only get a bid from one house. Do y'all ever travel for formals? It just depends. But yes, most of the time we will travel somewhere off campus. It just depends on like where they want to hold it. But most of them will be either in Denton or Dallas. Again, it just depends. But we won't go anywhere super far, like out of state. Like it just depends on like budget and stuff like that.
Yeah. So the day of preference ceremonies that you go to, you're going to go to a maximum of 2 houses, and then from there we'll take you back to a room, and then that's where you will have been putting info into these computers throughout the whole week. And so that's kind of where you select your like top and your second. So yes, you can rank, and then that's how it works.
And before you do like your selections, your ROGAMs will be there to help you figure out how you're supposed to like work the system and how you're supposed to rank. Like you'll be doing your own selections, but we'll kind of explain like what is expected for you to do, like whether you're supposed to rank it like 1 through 10 or you're supposed to like put it, stuff like that. Just curious, is there a lot of singing and chanting? There will be some singing and chanting. Each house will have a little chant, and it's called the door stack, and they'll do a little chanting before you go in the house. So yeah, there is some singing and chanting.
And then recruitment and first flight week, obviously you're going to be able to have all of the time that you need to finish everything from your first flight week. That's a really important week, especially for our incoming freshmen, to really get, a feel of what our university is and just how everything works. And we will also be hosting some events, kind of like Greek Preview, kind of like right now, during first flight week. So we'll be able to talk with you a little bit more about everything that happens. So there won't be any like collisions with that.
Mm-hmm. So that looks like all the questions so far. I believe we answered them all. So thank you so much, Julia and Jeanette, for giving this presentation over Panhellenic. As Jeanette shared one more question. Do y'all want to answer that one?
Oh yeah. Our sorority is disability friendly, of course. We take everyone of all disabilities. So yeah, of course. So I think not every house, every house is what's it called? Accessible. So.
And so the most rewarding part about everybody's philanthropy is just giving back to the community. Every philanthropy is so different in so many ways that it's just awesome. Like if you're in one sorority, that you can, help other sororities with their philanthropy. So it's not just like, okay, like I'm in this sorority, this is the only philanthropy that I care about. Like we say, Panhellenic is like a big community, and we really want to help our other sisters.
How often do you attend sporting events? Each sorority can be involved in like different sporting events. So they have things called intramurals where you can make a team with your sorority, or you can even have a co-ed team and pair up with a fraternity. It just depends. And so they can do things like soccer, basketball, softball. So if you're really sporty, those are really good ways to get involved with your sorority. And for the accessible thing, it's ADA accessible for all the houses.
It looks like there's one more question. What is the most rewarding part of your philanthropy and being representatives of your, what is the most rewarding part of your philanthropy being in your respective sororities?
I think Juliet kind of touched on this, but probably the most rewarding is being able to, again, like support everyone, because you have the opportunity to go to everyone's house and just support their philanthropy, which is a really good way to give back, and not just to your sorority, but to everyone's. And not even that, like even with like Circle of Sisterhood, which is all of Panhellenic's philanthropy, that's also a really good way to get involved. But my favorite part is probably just being able to like do hands-on work and be able to hold these events and kind of see like each sorority's philanthropy is different, but kind of see like where your money is going is such a rewarding thing for me. I think Juliet kind of touched on that one.
Okay, now I think we're done with questions. So thank y'all again. If you have any more questions, feel free to contact us. I know Jeanette shared her email on that slide. And all the sessions for today will be sent out to everyone who was signed up to attend. So if you missed anything earlier or want to go back and listen to this again, it will be sent to you with all our contact information. If you do have any more information, need any more information, Jeanette just popped her email in the chat. So copy and paste that to your computer so you can reach out to us. Information about all our organizations and council is on our websites. So check out, it's cfsl.unt.edu. I will plop that in the chat right now. You'll be able to learn all about organizations, and Panhellenic has a recruitment book on there. So if you didn't get the link from the chat, it'll be on our website as well. Thank you all.
And also follow us on social media at UNT Pan on Twitter and Instagram.
Yes, I think all the council social media information is also on our website, so you'll be able to keep up to date with all of UNT CFSL. Doing a shout out to the rest of my pro staff on the call. Did y'all have any closing remarks? Nope, I guess they're good. So thank y'all for spending the day with us. Oh, Zach.
Sorry. Hey, y'all. Hey, Julia. Hey, so thank you all for joining us for Greek Preview Day 2020. Again, knowing that these are not ideal situations, but also understanding the importance of fraternity and sorority life, not only at UNT, but across the nation. First, I would like to thank our phenomenal students for putting on this great program. You all never cease to amaze us. I love and appreciate you all. Juliet, I am standing after your room design, so right, I love it. Second, but yes, back to the students. I mean, all of the information you all received from our council leadership, that's as great as it can be, because as pro staff, we know the experience, we've had the experience, but hearing from our council leaders, presidents, vice presidents, is definitely what we want the students to be able to have access to, because of the fact that this is the current experience now. And so we don't want to take away from that. And so definitely appreciate them. Grace, thank you so much for putting this together for us. You rock at everything you do. I could not have done it myself without with lack of technological genius. So Grace, you have done a phenomenal job. If ever anyone has any questions about fraternity and sorority life, please feel free to reach out to either us as the staff or definitely our students. Again, this is going to be recorded and made available for individuals who want to watch at a later date. So we are all available to you, and we look forward to welcoming you to the land of Mean Green. and to our fraternity and sorority life community in the fall. Go Mean Green.